Hey guys, we're gonna be talking about Shazam. So I actually watched this yesterday. I'm gonna try to upload this today if I can, and if not, then I'll upload it tomorrow on Tuesday. So I went to my dad. I was gonna either watch Endgame because he suggested we go to the movies. I was like, oh okay. So I looked what was on like the board, and so we got there, and Shazam was playing. I'm like, oh okay. I heard some good stuff about it, so I watched it, and the rating they gave the movie was a 7.6 out of 10. I kind of disagree on that. I kind of want to be somewhere at a 8, like a 8 out of 10, somewhere on those guidelines. So I'm going to talk about the whole movie. So if you have not seen it, spoilers ahead, because that movie I have plenty of time for everybody to watch before Endgame. So yeah, just a little bit of spoiler warning ahead. So the beginning of the movie, it began with like this cars in the middle of the snow. It was just a boy. He was playing with these, how you call it, the little ball thing. If you shake it, it gives you an answer. Yeah, he was in a car at night with his dad, the one who's driving, and his knowing older brother. You know how siblings are. So it started to get in the sequence where everything was just moving so fast for him because his dad and brother disappeared while he was in the car, and like all these strange symbols was popping up, and his car was getting frozen, like the windows were getting frozen and everything. Then he stepped out of the car, and he was in like a lair type of cave, and as he went forward, the wizard was there, and it was I don't know, like a wizard. It's like you guys know what I mean. Like the wizard's name is Shazam. Yeah. So he walked up. He walked up towards this wizard, and he told about the wizard, or the wizard told him like who he was and everything, and that he was searching for a champion because he is growing old and weak, and he wants his power to transform to someone who is though with like heart and everything, and that they're worthy of this power and they're not going to use it for other things. But at the wizard's lair, there is these statues that represent the 7 sins. I know it's greed, lust, pride, envy. Forgot the other 3, but yeah, I kind of love like the added that, like I think it's Greek, maybe Greek or Roman mythology, because Shazam actually like has the 4 powers of those what is it? It's six letters of his, 6 letters of his name. But he challenged the boy to pass through a test to make sure if he's worthy enough to have his power. So there was this orb thing that was just like right across the statues. The statues were like actual, like, you know, demons, like demon statues or whatever of these creatures. So they were like getting in this little kid's voice and everything and telling him to grab it to like have power and everything. But before he did that, the wizard stopped him and told him that he isn't worthy or anything, and that he put him back to where he was, like in the car with his dad and his brother. But the 7 statues were talking about how he's weak and he should find his champion pretty soon before they actually find someone for the 7 sins to control and everything. So yeah, it cuts out to that, and then it goes back to the kid that he was starting like to freak out and yell about this wizard that took him, and then his father and his brother got in a car crash. For some reason, like the car, like I don't know, like accidents where the car like yeets over, like if the car comes towards you and you like make a hard left, and you know how your car spins around. Basically, it did that, and then the car is just like staying still and everything. Another car freaking rams them over, and I'm like thinking like, wait, what? Like I know like you can perfectly see a car, And my question is, how the heck did the father even jump out of out of the driver's seat if he's wearing a seatbelt? Kind of not didn't make any sense, but yeah. So why when they got in the car accident, the little kid was like walking over to his dad where he was laying there in the snow. By the way, they were like on their way to visit their grandparents. I didn't know if I mentioned that earlier. So, yeah, and then the older brother blamed him for being all of his fault, and then the orb ball thing that, you know, when you shake it gives you an answer, it says, "Come find us." And yeah, and that cuts off to Billy Batson, our protagonist of this movie. So he for his origin, that his is not so much of a tragic of how other superheroes are. So basically, I'm gonna sum up his origins like this. So his origin is basically he's just a foster kid because he got lost one day from his mother, and that his mother never came looking for him. So Billy spent pretty much all his life to find his mother. And yeah, so we get this scene, excuse me, that we get, okay, kind of burping a little bit, excuse me about that. So we get the scene about like Billy tricking the cops of someone actually robbing a store, and he actually locks them out and tries to find his mother's like address and everything to find a way to get like the exact house and where she is and everything. Funny enough that he did get like like whatever his mother's first name, can't remember, but I know her last name was Batson. He went and, oh yeah, he also stole the cop's fries while he was like in the car. When you type in like I don't know how like cop technology works, well, in that department. So yeah, just trust in my word. So he went there, and it was not his mother, it was just some lady. So yeah, and then he was talking to, next we get that he was talking to this lady who's, I think, child friendly service or something. Something about like him going to a foster home and everything, and that yeah, he has no choice either to. Well, he has no choice at all. He just needs to go to a foster home. Like all his other foster homes that he wants to, they don't want him. They just don't want him at all. So yeah, he goes for this really nice family. I did love all the actors who did play as the foster family for Billy. It's kind of really cool. So what else is there? So Billy gets, adopted by these foster parents, and then he was introduced to his four foster family. One is a little girl, one is a grown girl, one is one kid who's really addicted with technology and everything. One kid is very the silent type, and Freddy, I remember his name but not the other ones, but Freddy is basically the nerd of all comic books, because he knows a lot about superheroes and everything, and he nonstop talks about that. I kind of like his personality being like that. So yeah, he was not really what Billy was like looking for. Like, he didn't want to be with this family. He has no choice, but he decided to give it like a little bit of a chance, but he did it. So flash a little bit forward. It goes to him going to school with his foster siblings until he got on, like, I think, yeah, the first day through and everything. And yeah, I don't remember any other scenes from there. And then we get cut off to this kid. The kid that I mentioned earlier that was chosen by the wizard Shazam, but failed the test. He's all grown up now, and that the wizard chosen so many other people across the world as their champion to defeat the 7 deadly sins, or 7 demon sins, or whatever. So, all these people reported about like how they were abducted by these strange symbols and everything. And then this lady was interviewing one of the people that were abducted by the wizard to like go through a trial phase, and there we get to see the actual guy. I don't remember his name for some reason. He's just the bald guy. Just gotta call him that. Yeah, then he figured out about the whole symbols and everything, and then he wrote it on a door. And the lady that was interviewing the other lady that's been abducted by the wizard to go through the trial, she thinks that he was bluffing. So he wrote like the seven symbols. The seven symbols, I'm assuming that represents the seven sins. I don't know like what everything means, so don't quote me on that. So she freaking hits the door to where he wrote all the seven sin symbols 7 times, and in the same order. It glows up, and then she turns into ashes, which is wow. And then he opens the door and he walks right into the lair where Shazam, the old wizard, is, and that he told him like, you remember me about, when he was a kid? Yeah, the Shazam, the old wizard, remembers. And that he made a good point that he said that he wasn't chosen, he wasn't like the worthy one and everything. But he took the ball of energy, that when he took it, all the seven sins of statues like were broken, were crumbled, and they transfer into the orb that the bald guy was wearing, or the bald guy that was holding, and that he that he was holding, and he puts that straight into his right eye, I'm assuming. And then he like took a swing at the old wizard, and then he went off to cause havoc. And then he immediately like the wizard started to rush this up to find someone that could be champion. So the next day, Billy and Freddy, when they went to school, but this time, but this time Billy went to this same when they went into the school and everything. Freddy got hit. Freddy's a disabled foster child. He has this cane-looking thing on his left arm that he holds to help him walk. So these bullies who rides this truck that hits him, and that they were beating him up and calling him names, and like mentioning about his mother, like go home and cry to her mommy. Oh wait, you don't have one. Then Billy turned. He freaking took Freddy's walker thing, just like freaking hits both of those kids. It was such a savage move. And then he was running away from them, escaping them. Then he went all the way down to the train station. The environment that this is all taking place in Philadelphia. That's where Billy is in. So he ran the bullies, and that he went inside of the train, just took off, and then the same sequence happened. Like everything was going really fast, like hyperspeed in Star Wars, if you want to call it like that. Like everything was moving so fast, the symbols were showing, and the outside of the train was like frozen up, like the ice was like covering the window, stuff like that. And then same thing as the kid before, Billy like stepped out of the train, but it was funny that he looked to the directions like where the train takes people in certain places. He looked at it before he went towards it. I thought that was pretty hilarious. So he went in, and then like the wizard explained about him and everything, about how he chosen a champion to like help people and everything, but he took that for granted, and he took his vengeance on releasing the 7 demon sin, deadly sins, or whatever you want to call them. So yeah, then he told Billy, he chooses him that he is worthy of this power, and he's good-hearted and everything, and not be corrupted by the 7 sins. So yeah, and then he had him say the name Shazam. Like he had him had the staff that the old wizard was having. So he had to stand there, and he told him that he must have his hand on the staff, like holding it, and say his name for his power to transfer to him. So he says Shazam, and like I kind of like this cool little sequence that he did, but he didn't like he did it really fast. So he told Billy what all the letters of the name Shazam stands for. Luckily, I have my phone right now, like looking at this. So the S stands for Solomon, for who wisdom enhanced intellects. H is for superhuman strength granted by Hercules. A stands for the god Atlas, by whom Billy gets his stamina. Z is for Zeus, the god, the god of thunder. A represents the demigod of Achilles, of courage and dominant will. M is the god for Mercury, who grants him speed and teleportation too. So yeah, he named he said that all of what each of the letters of names Shazam stands for pretty fast. Like, I can only remember him saying something about Mercury and Zeus really quickly, because yeah, then he immediately transforms into Shazam. It's kind of cool. So what do we get? Really was like really freaking out and everything, and that he didn't know how to work with this body that he's doing. So this is like my favorite part of the whole entire movie. So basically, when Billy went to his foster home and went to where Freddy was washing the dishes, and his foster parents were like really concerned about Billy, and they should know about him running away and everything. So the funny part was when he went to like don't scream like on the piece of notebook paper and just put on the window for him, and that he asked him to like meet him out in the back and everything, and that this and the whole entire thing, this I think for almost like 10 to 15 minutes they were basically doing all this stuff with Billy and Freddy of like how they were testing his powers and everything, and how Freddy was uploading this to YouTube and like making money out of this. It was really funny and cool at the same time. Like I love to see how a comic book can be turned to a different perspective, like with modern society, sort of. I kind of want to put that bar of a line right there, how it is. So, what else? Until he figured out how he could transform into him by just saying Shazam, and that's all. And then Billy was like getting like in a jerky mood and like using his powers for his own little building, for his own little personal games and everything, and like making money out of that. And until he got a little bit more serious when he met the bald guy who has the power of the 7 gods and everything, and he freaking whooped him to oblivion. It was kind of really funny. And that one scene when he was thrown up all the way to the air, and like when the guy grabbed him, he told him like he fights like a child, and he said "It's hilarious," and he jumped down. And then when he was dropped all the way down, he was like, "I believe I can fly! Swim! Which arm is it?" And it cuts to the black, and he was like floating just like a little bit off the ground. He was like, "Oh, I can fly!" I found that was like pretty funny. And then as we progress further, I don't want to go full detail because after Endgame, I made that video for like 45 minutes, so I don't want to go too much into details. So he knew how to reach Shazam. Well, the bug guy didn't know yet, because he saw from the TV that the champion, well, that's how he rephrased him because he doesn't know the name yet, that he saw him talking to the same young child, and the same young child, Freddy, was looking for Billy, and that he was using him to get towards him to Shazam. So, what else? Yeah. Billy comes home, as Shazam, and protects his he protects his foster family and everything. And because I know there was like a little more stuff into it, but what I can remember by far is when they all knew that they all knew, his foster family knew that Billy is that guy, Shazam. Billy went, they find, I think the one kid with really hooked on technology, he found where his mom actually lives, he went over there, and then the thing is, when Billy lost his mother, like when they were separated, his mother was looking for him as well, but she saw him with the police. So she thought that they would take care of him better than she did because she was pregnant with him at 17, and his father was in jail in Florida. So it's kind of really tragic for Billy. And then, then the bald guy knew how to reach Billy through through Freddy and his family, and like throwing them and all that. So he went there, and then a bit more dialogue was happening, and and all I can remember so far, honestly, is just in the carnival scene where his foster family was there and they were trying to help out Billy and everything, and what else, and it cuts back to where all the 7 sins were like coming out of this dude. All the 7 devilish sins of greed, lust, and all of that were like out of him. They were actually in physical forms. And they took all Billy's foster family as hostages for him to grant the power of the wizard. So the same thing of how the wizard grabbed the staff and told Billy to hold on to the staff and say his name for his power to go through him, saying Shazam, he wants him to do the same so that he could become more powerful, but Billy doesn't want to give up on that until he actually realizes how to beat him. So each the devil sins comes out of the guy. It makes him more weaker because his eye is blue because all the 7 sins were inside of him. But when they come out of him, all 7 of them, they just turn him into an ordinary man, like the weakling and everything. And he gets up because of his eye, because all 7 of them inside of him is blue, but if all the sins are outside of him, it turns gray. I call it Jim's gray. So he figured out that, and that he could transfer his power towards his family as well. And what was that? I don't know what happened, but it ends off with like Billy kicking back the bald guy, and that his foster family does the same. They all reach for the staffs or whatever, Billy's hand or something, and they all say Shazam, and all of them transform into just like him. So they were being up the 7 deadly sins, and while Billy was or Shazam was finally fighting the bald guy, each of the foster family as the power of Shazam like had their own bits of scenes and everything, and dialogue. It was kind of really funny, and it was really cool how the producers went to that direction. They wanted to take it like really fast paced or a little bit slow pace of how Billy works his powers, or keep it a fast pace. But I like how it went so far. And that, so he figured out how to defeat him by taking the orb out of his eye, because that's where the sin statue is placed on his eye. So it ends up being that way, in that he puts it back to where the lair was of Shazam, the old wizard were. He puts it there, then all those 7 deadly sins of devil sins were back to their statue form. And that's about it. Then we get a bit of a cool ending at the end of it, of how the whole school didn't believe that he was friends with Shazam until at the end, his foster family was there sitting by Freddy, and that Billy, aka Shazam, was like showing up in the lunchroom with all the kids saying, "Oh yeah, he's like my BFF and everything." Then he grabbed lunch, sat down, and that he said, "You don't mind because I invited in a special friend," and we get to see a Superman freaking cameo, but we don't know if it's, I don't know the guy's last name, but I remember it's like Henry something. Same guy who played Man of Steel. Great movie, by the way. But yeah, we get to see that cameo, and it cuts off. But yeah, I can't wait because I did see a video before Dwayne Johnson like saying about Shazam and everything, how it was kind of fun, and we all knew from like a long time ago that Dwayne Johnson should be like cast his role as Black Adam. So I can't wait for that to be the second movie because I'm pretty sure they're gonna work on that pretty soon. Pretty soon, don't know what year, maybe 2020 or 2021. Doesn't matter. How would I rate this movie would be what I said earlier about being an 8 out of 10 because they did took it, excuse me, in a different direction, which I like it, but I feel like there were some things that could have been added into the movie to make it, excuse me, a little bit better in my opinion. So yeah, I like Shazam. It's actually pretty good, one of the good DC films because they're really not doing so good right now, especially competing against Marvel or the MCU. It's gonna be hard for them to make a good movie that's got a top to their level competitively. But yeah, if they keep going with this direction, I feel like DC will have a like a good history of like good movies like Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Not so much for Justice League and Batman v Superman because I thought I was gonna get really excited for that, and it really didn't expect my it didn't exceed my expectations for the movie. Same thing with Suicide Squad, but that's just my opinion. I like Shazam. I recommend everybody go check it out. Watch the movie if they haven't already. And yeah, guys, if you watched Shazam, let me know what was your favorite scene or part down below in the comments below. And yeah, my name is Wendigos239 or Jordan, and I'm signing off. Peace.